Believe it or not, we are now in the last chapter, the post-test learning. Our e-learning course, the development of diagnostic skills of soil limitation for sustainable agriculture, provided you all chapters for those who are really absolute beginners. How was your learning skills in soil? Before taking the test, let me summarize in what we have learned so far. In chapter 1, we did know a little introduction to soil. You guys have known why soil resources are so important to all of us, and you all did the pre-test. In chapter 2, we brought you out for getting started and learning soil by yourself. We did show the ideal mineral soil components, and we did learn the story behind the soil texture and soil color. Remember, based on the soil color, one can interpret to the soil hydrology. In chapter 3, we introduced the two important keywords of this e-learning course, and they are soil limitations and soil quality. Also, we explained you guys on how we selected the soil quality indices to simplify our course just for you all. In chapter 4, we presented the simplified techniques for analysis of the selected soil physical quality, the maximum soil depth to root limiting layers, and soil porosity. Remember, we addressed how important of these two indices, and we did show little experiment to prove that by yourself. In chapter 5, we introduced the simplified techniques for analysis of the selected soil chemical quality, soil pH, and soil organic matter. Even you can roughly tell the amount of organic matter by looking at the soil color, but to be sure, we need to use the test kit for better precision management. Also, checking the soil pH can confirm us if the crop types that we are growing fit well with the soil pH. In chapter 6, it was so fun that we were searching for the earthworms, which is our selected soil biological quality. Remember, this parameter is so important and is related to the physical and chemical quality. In chapter 7, we took you guys out to the fields, and we surely did use our skills to diagnose the selected soil quality and its limitations. In chapter 8, we learned how to manage those soil limitations together, and the key result is adding more organic matter into the soil with various approaches. And now we are in chapter 9, which is the final chapter. This is the time that you're going to prove yourself on how you have learned so far from the class. But if you're not sure yet, let me show you with this all chapters summarized together. Let's see the following video now. Soil refers to naturally occurring bodies that form layers, starting from a mixture of various minerals that is broken into small pieces and decaying organic matter until it forms a thin layer covering the earth. And when there is an appropriate amount of air and water, it will help in the growth of plants. Let me compare it with a cake, where you should be able to know what kind of layers underneath the cream covering are, right? You need to cut the cake and check. Similarly, about the soil, if you like to understand soil very well, we need to dig it and bring it up to see more clearly. Now here, let me show you a little bit of theory, okay? Based on things that you can see, you can touch the soil in 1 unit of volume. Within that volume unit, you can identify the 4 main components in the soil that are minerals, around 45%, okay? Organic matter, around 5%. These two is the solid phase of the soil components. And another half we have here is just the pore in the soil. So within the pore, we have air and water kind of compensate to each other to take the spot of the pore space. All right, and this four component is really important. We always see these four components, but the amount of each component might be a little bit different. This is for ideal soil we have, and we call them mineral soil. Let me show you a little bit information here. You see that organic matter down there, which is just 5%, right? But this part is really important as being soil, especially when we talk the soil as a important factor for plant growing. Basically the root restriction, like in this case, we have the plant that grows in a pot right here. So it's really common that you see the root restriction in here. So let me pull it out. Okay, here you go. See that? You have the number of the roots just a lot compared to the potting mix you have. So here is an example that the root grow into the soil is really important. This case we did on purpose because you like to keep this plant stunning. You don't want to have them grow like really fast, right? Now in the field, to check your soil maximum to the root limiting layers, you have to dig the soil from the top of the soil surface down into the soil. Now you have to check if those layer is thick enough for plant to grow. Let's say you didn't see any the limitation due to the hard layers or some other layers that kind of restrict the root growth, you'll be okay. Soil pH or soil reaction is an indication of the acidity or alkalinity of soil and is measured in pH units. The effects of soil pH is great on the solubility of minerals or nutrients. 14 out of 17 essential plant nutrients are obtained from the soil. The soil pH can also influence plant growth by its effects on the activity of beneficial microorganisms. Let's show you guys on how to check the soil pH once you have your soil sample ready, and I have 2 soil samples. Come closer and take a look. I have 2 soil samples over here. I just label number 1 and number 2 so that way we can compare the pH of these 2 soils. So first of all, I like to label on the test plate as well. I put number 1 here and number 2 here. Just stay away from each other, all right? And then I'm gonna use spatula to take the soil sample. Okay, I'll bring that out and I put it over here, number 1. Next, I'm going to use the, this one is the mix indicator. I'm going to drop just a couple drop, I believe. Now you gotta be careful, you don't wanna add too much. That's supposed to be enough. Okay, I'll put it over here and I use spatula, just one side that I used before because I'm going to use the other side for the second soil sample. Okay, and then I just stir it around. To do this, you have to check the pH within like 3 minutes. So that's why I try to finish 1 sample first. I think that should be okay. I'm gonna use the tissue paper to clean up a little bit, and I'll leave one side there. Now I'm going to use the white powder. Okay, see you have a little holes there, just sprinkle. Okay, this sample is number 1. Okay, it's pretty easy to check. I will leave it up a little bit here so you guys can see. It's very simple. See that? Look at the white powder now change to blue, light blue, which is a neutral or pH of 7. So number 1, the soil sample has pH of 7. In the first step, we need to prepare the soil sample from the field by bringing the soil to dry for 2 to 3 days in shade until the soil is completely dry. If you get the soil is dry already, take about a half of kilogram of the soil sample and grind it with a clean glass jar by rolling the crusher back and forth until you get really fine texture like this that probably ready to sieve out. So I'm gonna show you here. Okay, so I'm gonna sieve to the size that probably the most suitable size to get the reaction done very well. I think we get that probably enough. Bring the heaping spoon here. And what we need just only one heaping spoon, okay? Okay, I got it, one heaping spoon. And then I bring in the reacting bottles. I just put the soil sample in here. And next step, I will measure the solution number 1, reacting solution, and I need just 5 milliliter. That's about 5. And then I just add solution into the soil sample. Then I just tilt to mix the soil sample with the solution, okay? That should be enough. Now what I need is the solution number 2. This one again, you gotta be careful because it's acidic. And after I put this guy in, it's gonna be a little bit gassy, so you gotta be careful with that. Not just the gassy, but the temperature getting higher as well. Okay. Now you have to mix it, but be careful because the bottom is really hot. With this step, you will let the reaction occur for 15 minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, 15 minutes done, so I'm gonna add number 3 solution, which is just distilled water. But this time we need 10 milliliter and I have just 5 milliliter syringe, so I have to do it twice. Okay, that's the first 5. And the second one right after that. Okay, now with water we need further 30 minutes that we have to wait before we check the soil organic matter. I'll be right back. Okay, here is 30 minutes later. So the solution is ready. I'm gonna use a dropper to bring just from the top of the solution. You gotta be careful, otherwise you just stir the particle to mix again with the solution. Okay, I'm gonna put the solution over here. Wow, beautiful. Okay, that's good. Now let's check with the soil organic matter reading chart here. Now you can see that, oh, see that's pretty clear. The organic matter for this soil is high. Here are the steps to count the earthworms in soil. Step 1. Dig out a soil pit 20 centimeter cube of soil and place soil on the mat. Step 2. Hand sort the soil, placing each whole earthworm into the pot. Step 3. Count the number of earthworms we found. Step 4. Return earthworms into the soil pit and backfill with soil. You may repeat step 1 to 4 until you get 3 replication per field. Because the earthworms don't like soil that is too acidic or too alkali, or have some other environment like too dry, wet, too hot, or too cold. Therefore, the presence of earthworms is really good indicator of the soil condition suitable for plant growing. Now let me talk a little bit about the post-taste. It is actually the same as the pre-taste one. However, we believe that after you all have learned from our e-learning course, the scores you receive will reflect in what you have learned. Also, for those who have enrolled in this e-learning course, we are pretty sure that they can check the soil quality and limitation by themselves. It is a time for the taste. Are you guys ready for that? But now, give me a second before the test. It is my pleasure to be your moderator. And just so you know that we are all happy to serve you all with this e-learning course. We thank to all of you for learning with us. Hope to see you all again in some other classes in the future. Please feel free to give us the feedback so we can improve and design the course fit your need further. Big thanks go to Setla and LDD to support this e-learning course production. Otherwise, you guys have fun on the test. You guys have a great day and please stay tuned in Soil Learning. Bye bye สวัสดีครับ